Then we have something called as Azure Machine Learning. So Azure Machine Learning provides you with a machine learning model analysis. So like if you give a huge data to it, the history data, it will give you future recommendation. So for example, if you are running like Spotify, so on your previously the songs you have listened in the past, it will give you future recommendation. You can upload a huge amount of data, you can train the data, you can test the data and make future prediction. You can also do cleaning of the data, you can apply huge algorithms. So it is a platform basically for machine learning models. Then we have something known as Azure Bot Services. So Azure Bot Services is run as a web application on Azure App Services. Whenever you see a question related to chatbot services, you always have to know that Azure Bot Service is the answer. So it does natural language processing, or it can provide with FAQ queries. Like if you have a website and frequently customers ask the bot like what are the shipping rules, or do you ship the product in my country, so the Azure bot will go through the FAQ section of your website and it will reply to the customer. Also, many a times in AZ 900 exam, the question are asked related to platform as is the service a platform as a service. So you always have to remember that mostly the question comes related to virtual machine and storage accounts. Virtual machine and storage accounts are IaaS, infrastructure as a service, whereas all these things that we discussed recently are platform as a service. Always remember which service is a PaaS, which service is SaaS, and which service is IaaS. Then we have something related to Azure Cognitive Service. So it is provides ML solution in the form of API. Like if you want to do object detection on the image, or you want to like provide emotional sentimental analysis on text, like is this tweet is this tweet appropriate, or you want a good candidate for personal recommendation, as your cognitive services are your answer. You can deal with speech, you can deal with vision, or you can deal with videos. You do not have to write the whole code of object detection. You do not have to write whole code of converting speech to text or text to speech. It has already pre-configured APIs. You just have to use them in your application. Then we have something called as Azure Functions. So whenever the word serverless computing comes in AZ 900 exams, always look for Azure Function. The question can be asked, which of the following are serverless computing services provided by Azure? So you always look for Azure Functions. So Azure Functions are basically that can create an alert or trigger. Uh, uh, like uh, like if I'm writing a Java code, whenever I will call the function, the statement within the function will run only at that specific point of time. Like if you're calling the calculator, then only the code of the calculator will run. In similar way as your functions work, like if the alert or the trigger comes, then whatever the functionality will be assigned to the function that will run. And for example, a virtual machine will only run when a function ABC is called. Okay, so you will only be charged for using that virtual machine when the function runs. So you do not have to pay for the virtual machine entire time. Whenever the function ABC will be called, at that time only you will be charged till the time the machine uses the resources. Okay, so if you want to have some event driven application, functions can be done by using Azure Functions. For example, if you want to run a specific Java code, if you want to run a specific C code, or for the basic example is like whenever you're using your laptop, the webcam doesn't works. Whenever you open the application camera, the light comes and the camera starts operating. In the similar way as your function comes, always remember it relate like this, like it only opens when the function runs. Then we have something known as logic app. So now Logic app is like a workflow. Like if you want to make a cup of tea, then you have series of steps that you have to follow. Like you will boil water, you will add the ingredients, then the tea will be done. So always remember the keyword workflow. Okay, so if you want to run some functionalities in a specific order, as your logic app is your answer. The best example I can give you is, for example, whenever you order something from Amazon, okay, you receive a notification that your order is placed, your order will arrive to you at this day, your order has left, it has shipped, it is out for delivery. All these steps are, connected to each other. Like order cannot be out for delivery if it has not been yet shipped. In the similar way as your logic apps work, if you want to do something in a sequence, and you only want to do when something occurs, then as your logic apps are your answer. Okay, you do not like uh, basically something triggers, someone orders something, and the process starts. Then we have something called as your dev test labs. Okay, now this, whenever the word testing comes in the examination, that too automation testing, you always should remember that as your dev test lab is your answer. Okay, if I want to do testing of my application, I will go to Azure Dev Test Lab. It will do all the things, like it will configure the virtual machine, and it will also delete the virtual machine when my testing is done. So I do not have to think about configuring the environment. I just have to think about my testing. Okay, so Azure Dev Test Labs are known for automation testing. Then we have the best thing, as your portal. So whenever you want to talk to as your resource manager, and if you do not want to use PowerShell or CLI, you have some short work, you can go to Azure portal and you can apply tags, you can create new resources, you can manage your resources, you can apply logs on resources, you can do access control from all these from Azure portal. It is basically a user interface provided to talk to Azure resource manager to create, update, or delete your Azure resources. Then we have something known as Azure PowerShell. If you like to run the PowerShell of Windows, you will like Azure PowerShell. If you like to work on Linux Bash, then you will like Azure CLI. These two have just the uh, choices. Like if I am, running something on cloud, I can use PowerShell or CLI. Both are like same, but it is more analogous to the Windows PowerShell, and this is more analogous to Linux Bash. Okay, so both of them are cross platform. You can access PowerShell and CLI from Windows, Linux, Mac OS. Okay, yes, but the thing with them is that you have to download them. Like you have to download Azure PowerShell on your machine on which you are working with Azure Public Cloud. Similarly, you have to download and configure CLI. Okay, so if you do not want to download the PowerShell or CLI, or if you are working from multiple machine, then Azure Cloud Shell is your answer. You can run PowerShell and CLI by downloading their modules on Cloud Shell. Like if I'll give you an example. I have a machine in my office on which I use Azure PowerShell. Okay, and I am on a vacation, and I want to do something. I have an urgent request of a resource. Then what will I do is I will open the browser, I will go to Azure portal, I will open Azure Cloud Shell, then I will download the module of Azure PowerShell, and I will run Azure PowerShell commands on Azure Cloud Shell. So basically you can run CLI or PowerShell on cloud using Azure Cloud Shell. Then we have something as Azure Advisor. So Azure Advisor is gives you suggestion on operational excellence. Basically, how you can save money or how you can optimize. Like if a virtual machine of mine only runs on specific moments or specific functionalities, as your advisor will ask me to move to Azure Logic apps. So it basically gives you alerts that an outage can come. It gives you suggestion on how you can save money and increase security. Then we have something called as Azure Monitor. Advisor gives you suggestion, monitor monitors your resources. It sees like what is the health condition of your resources. Do we have any outage? Do we have any security vulnerabilities? It will look after my application insights. It will help me to monitor my virtual machine, my containers, or my orchestration of containers, etc. It helps to detect root cause of problems. Then we have something called as Azure Service Health. Azure Service Health basically tells me if any of Azure data center is affected. For example, if I have my resources or services designated to availability zone in a data center, and if one of the availability zones go down, then Azure Service Health will tell me down. It is basically tells me about Azure ka health, not related to my resources. It will using Azure services, you cannot prevent a failure. It just give me reviews or the current condition scenarios. Then we have something called as Azure Key Vault. Consider Key Vault as your, you know, a box in which you save all your precious things. You can save sensitive data. You can save tokens, documents, your secret, your encryption keys, everything in Key Vault. No one will be able to access it unless or until you allow it. It can monitor and control uh, anyone who can, access it. Then we have a new thing in the updated syllabus known as Azure mobile app. Like WhatsApp and Facebook, Instagram, we have multiple mobile application. We also have an application to control our own Azure resources via something called as Azure mobile app. It is a mobile application app available for both iOS and Android. You can check your logs, you can see your analytics, you can run commands. So basically it is a Azure management tool. Then again, we have Azure Security Center. It is basically a dashboard for security, and it gives us analytics and recommendation what currently is going on. Then we have something called as Azure Sentinel. So whenever you're giving your AZ 900 examination and you see log files, okay, then always remember this is your answer. So basically what happens is that if you have multiple log files from your resources, it will go through them and it will help to find any security holes or any vulnerabilities present in your resources. It basically detects the fault in the resource, it investigates and find the cause of it, and it responds. Using this you can save future security issues, and you can also decrease the vulnerabilities that are present in your resources. So that was it. I tried to cover maximum topics from the examination AZ 900. I didn't talk about IaaS, PaaS, or SaaS, or public hybrid or private cloud, because I think those are the easy topics which we do not need to worry much about. And I hope this video helped you. If it helped you, just please like this, or share it with your friends. All the best for your AZ 900 examination. So I'll just end over here.